let's get this party started, shall we? All right, so here are the rules of engagement. We're going to do this in alphabetical order, and this is the hot seat. So when we ask you a question, please come from your seat to the hot seat. Use the microphone so that everybody who's watching online can hear your response. And we're trying to keep our responses to about 60 seconds each so we can get through a lot of this. So alphabetical order. If you'd like me to, I just don't want to blow out the microphone over here. No problem. Let's begin with candidate Kovo. Come on down. You are the first person in the hot seat tonight.
I know, because of the alphabetical order, I'm always first.
Alphabetical order.
Thank you for that.
So, candidate Kovo, here is my question. You want to be our District 2 commissioner. What do you see as the primary job of the commissioner? And what makes you qualified to actually do this job?
The job of a commissioner has to be to actually represent the community. A commissioner job is nonpartisan, and that's important. But again, the commissioner job is to be your voice. And what makes me qualified to do this is because I've been exposing corruption in the city of Miami for more than 20 years. And the first thing that I would do as your commissioner would be to get there and make sure that things are running right. I would actually ask for audits that we need to make sure that happen to actually be able to deliver to our community. More than that, I was an advocate and I was part of the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services for the state. And it's actually a very important job because you get to be an advocate for the community. Your commissioner is not the person who's going to solve any type of partisan issues. Your commissioner is the person who's going to be there and is going to be able to open the doors and to make sure that things get done for the community. Specifically, right now we're here in downtown and we have a lot of issues that I'm sure that Brian is going to ask us afterwards.
60 seconds. Thank you so
I'm
much.
good.
You have explained that we are not following strict time limits. However, 60 seconds per answer will be something good to follow.
You gave me a great soundbite. Thank you very much.
I'm a former news reporter. I know my timing.
All right, thank you very much. Candidate Leal, on the hot seat. Don't forget, please use the microphone so the people who are watching can hear from you. You, based on your background, have extensive experience in the city of Miami.
Hold on, I almost fell on that one. It wasn't intended to be that hot.
That's all right.
Okay. I'm ready. Go ahead.
You have a tremendous understanding of how the sausage is made because you work in the sausage factory, basically. What makes you qualified to go from employee to policymaker? How do you see that working?
Thank you for the question, and thank you for everybody for being here. Very simple, and I think I have to relate to you how I got to the city. How I got to the city is because a neighbor asked me to fight a rezoning, and I was on the front lines of galvanizing that effort, bringing my neighbors together, and successfully defeating a rezoning. So, unlike any other candidate, I have the advantage of being someone that fought City Hall from the outside, got a job offer to continue to be an independent voice inside City Hall, passed legislation that helped our residents keep an eye on bad legislation, and whenever there was a need to articulate, fight, and defend our district, I did it on the dais, on the public, and in the mayor's seat. So nobody can tell you that here because I have done it effectively, and it's a testament to the work that I've done and the communication that I have. I see that there's a nod, so I don't know if that's a firm hold.
That's a firm hold. If you're going to be an elected official, you need to learn the art of brevity. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, have a seat.
Thank you.
Max, to the hot seat. Max, I'll ask you a similar variation of this question. We're asking your understanding of the position and what your unique qualifications are to carry out the duties of this office.
Well, I believe that the most important thing for a commissioner to do is to act on the best interests of their people. And the number one way you can be doing that is by not accepting money from special interests, having a clear head, and really having those people's interests in mind. That said, as a commissioner, you hold the power of a vote. You have the ability to affect change all over not only your district, but all over the city in favor of the 3-2. When it comes to pushing policy, I feel like this job has the ability to bring out so much more, and no one's ever touched that potential yet by making it a full-time job, and that's exactly what I intend on doing by giving it my full 100% focus with no one else's money except for friends and family. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Max. Candidate Tasker, come on over into the hot seat. Center, front and center in the light.
Brian Love, I think Raul was trying to get to
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Go ahead. I was trying to suggest that we perhaps should invert the order.
Whatever you like, it's your event.
No, go ahead.
But let me ask the question.
Yes.
Your knowledge of the position. If I understood correctly, because I watched the thing from Coconut Grove, the impetus for getting yourself involved in the race for this seat is that you were dissatisfied with the services you were receiving from the city. So what is your understanding of this District 2 job? What does it do, and what makes you qualified to do it?
So my name is Christy Tasker, and I'm qualified to do this job because I was actually raised with a mayor from age 18 until 34. And the job of a commissioner is to take care of things such as your trippy sidewalks, your garbage cans in the park, to make sure that you don't run into traffic jams, and that we meet with the commanders, and that we take care of the employees that are also taking care of us, because right now we have a massive communications issue. I have already begun to meet with commanders and contain maps, and have already laid out a plan. And with things such as the commissioner job, we will also not be spending $900,000 on statues while we have trash cans that are rusting in our park. We will not be having LED lights burning inside of your apartments like a Carollo club.
Time. Thank you very much. We will be going back and deep diving, peeling the onion on some of these answers. We want to just give everybody their 60 seconds. No. You're coming up next. Here you go, into the hot seat. Now, James, based on what I have read and what I know, you are currently running one of the largest homeowners associations. James is currently running one of the largest homeowners associations in the downtown area, so you've had a lot of touch points with the city government on different issues. What is your understanding of the job, and what makes you qualified to do it?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. First and foremost, 900, thank you for hosting. The qualifications of the job, as everyone knows, I work with almost 30,000 individuals in our core, and I'm honored to serve everybody here. I've had to create bridges to touch county commissioners, not just city, county and the city side. The job is exactly a job that you turn around and you address and you listen to the constituents. And right now that's not happening. I've been able to do that, and I'm very proud of that record. When the job is entailing what you need to do for the community, you need to make sure you have these alliances that you build, no matter who they are. And I'm not going to mention names because it's not important today. But what is important is that I have the experience to take us to the other level. This district deserves a lot better, especially this core.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we'll get back to that.
Thank you.
All right, come on up. Judge, into the hot seat.
former judge.
Thank you.
Well, out of respect, once you have the title, you always have the title.
Well, we can debate all those things, but okay.
Candidate Zilber, you have a history of public service. You've been in and out of public service, and now you wish to get back in. Being a judge is a little different than being a city commissioner. What is your understanding of the job? And while you have the legal chops, do you have the chops necessary to sit in seat for District 2?
Well, thank you for the question, and also thank you all for being here. My name is Martin Zilber, looking to be your next District 2 Commissioner. And yes, you did mention my experience on the bench, which of course leads to my ability to serve the public and the way decisions. But what really from my experience that relates more to District 2 commissioners. First, I was actually elected in Coconut Grove. I was on the village council. I've been elected countywide and in our district to serve our public, but probably the closest relationship of my experiences to the District 2 job is the fact that I was a public health trustee for Jackson Hospital. And at Jackson Hospital, we had a $4 billion budget. The city of Miami has a $2 billion budget. So I'm very familiar with managing a large bureaucracy. I'm very familiar with the type of finance background that needs to be done to manage and work with a budget like that. It's the reasons why the mayor and majority of the commission, which is another discussion for another time, I'm sure, has supported me. I apologize for the dress, but I'm out there walking because that's another big difference between this job is getting out there and touching and seeing everybody. So my time is up. Thank you.
Time is up. Thank you. So we've had a chance to hear a little bit from everybody, but the reason we're here today is because the Downtown News readership submitted questions. So we're going to be posing those questions to the candidates tonight. And I literally have the list that Raul had given me, and in no specific order, we're just going to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it and go for the questions. So since we began alphabetically with Sabina for the introductions, we're going to come back to the back end here, candidate Zilber. And let's see, I'm just going to randomly pick something, eeny, meeny, miny, moe. This comes from
the last page, but we'll see how random.
Here we go.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the issue of schools. When it comes to schools, it's taxation without representation, writes one reader. Where are the downtown schools? How will you, if elected, pressure the county and the state to get more schools into downtown and redirect impact fees for schools? 60 seconds.
Thank you. So education is certainly an important component of government. It's not really city government. It's really through the school board and state government. But as your city commissioner, just like you're dealing with traffic and many other issues that are county and state, we need to advocate. We need to advocate on behalf of all of our residents. And if the residents and our constituents believe, and knowing the way that Brickell and downtown has grown, and I lived in Brickell a few years ago for a year or two while we were moving in between places in the Grove, you can see the growth, you can see the need for more schools. And I can tell you as a former teacher as well, I taught for a long time as a professor at Miami-Dade and FIU. I think education and the growth of our children is very important, and I'm behind whatever we can do, though it would be advocating other elected bodies, such as the state and the school board, to get more schools in the district. I'm 100% behind that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, our next question goes to James. James, come on over, hot seat. And I'm going to do it the same way. I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to generically point to something. Where did my finger land? Okay. What specifically have you done to help your community? That's a question from a Downtown News reader.
Okay.
What specifically have you done?
What have I done? I can just ask it this way. The noise ordinance that was with the city, I was able to turn around and have those conversations with our commissioners. It took 3 months to put that together, where we looked for the exemption of the noise waiver on city-owned property. That affects not only the core of downtown, but also the district in general, because I don't just think macro, I think bigger than that. And that was a huge achievement that I was able to put together, where legislation was passed. It was passed because of our championing this idea that I want you guys to be rested and be able to sleep well. It was a huge concern that came to us as the DNA, and I took that upon ourselves. Worked tirelessly to get it done. And when our commissioner at the time, Russell, was ready to back out of that, we pushed him hard to making sure that that was not going to be done for this community, like he's done many times before, and trying to slice and dice downtown. So that's our biggest accomplishment that we've done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Come on over. All right. Again, random order. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, last one. Well, this goes back to your understanding of the job and your credentials of the job. So I'm going to go to the one above it because we've already asked this one. It's a question about Maurice A. Ferre Park. Do you agree with initiatives allowing billboards in city parks? And if not, what would you do to oppose them?
I don't agree with billboards in city parks because I think that they completely change the landscape. They change the entire vibe with the city park, and we have billboards everywhere else. There's nowhere else we need to market to people, and a city park is a place for all of us to be able to go, relax, enjoy, barbecue with our friends, know that our trash is being picked up, know that we're not going to be tripping over sidewalks, and know that we're not spending almost $1 million on sculptures that even the Perez Museum protested against. So I would definitely not want any kind of billboards or advertising in the park.
There's a follow-up question from the reader who submitted this. Would you support bringing Maurice A. Ferré Park into a conservatorship?
I would definitely want the parks to all come out of the trust that's under the Carollo regime. I'm not a fan of that at all because trusts are not to be trusted at this very moment, and we won't really know that until we actually do a forensic audit of our city budget to find out where all of our FTX, Bitcoin money, and further.
Thank you. Candidate Max. Candidate Max, again, questions from the Downtown News readership. Number 4, private property is owned by people and entities, many of which do not employ overnight security in the downtown area. Vagrants are ruining our downtown core. What will you do about this? Says a Downtown News reader.
Okay, so the thing with empty lots is they're all owned by foreign people and they're pretty much unregulated, so anyone feels that they can just go in there and do whatever they want. Increasing police presence in these areas is a necessity, especially for the urban core, because we need to keep everyone walking on the streets safe. And when it comes to the second part of that question, in terms of downtown and the I just can't say it any better than there shouldn't be so many vacant lots. There shouldn't be so many vacant lots and us having to use police force for it, because that's how the homeless problem expands, and we really just got to start developing on those lots. That would be my best answer, but sorry for not answering it clearly, but it's just a complicated question that I really believe should be developed.
Thank you very much. Candidate Leal, come on down. I'll just pull one from the bottom of the list. Bayfront Park, where to begin? So much potential, little of it realized. The lighting at the playground is terrible. At sundown, we can't even see the kids. The fountain is an eyesore, traps stagnant water. The new dog park has no enforcement of rules, no separate... Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
Solve all the issues that you just described.
Right. And clearly, I don't think this reader understands that the park has a trust, and it's run by another commissioner, not the District 2 commissioner. So how are you going to get into that, all that stuff?
So let me share with you some of my frustration with our parks. 50 to 60% of our budget is consumed by our first responders. Amen, we need them, and we need more of them out there. Our parks are, unfortunately, a disaster. If you go to any park that has a bathroom, I challenge anybody here to go inside a bathroom in our park. I have not seen one that is worthy of the amount of money that you and I pay in taxes, which I know is a lot of money.
Was there toilet paper?
No, actually, a good question. That's it when it's open, because at Morningside I was there visiting, and they close it if they don't have they don't have toilet paper. I was like, so hold on. We are having millions of dollars in our parks department, but if there is no toilet paper, they close it, and they do not have an alternative plan to do that. On day one, I will meet with our parks director, which is a revolving door, because we do not have currently one, and we will meet with that division, because parks had 4 divisions, and we will meet with that, and we'll meet with everybody, and I will have a bathroom that is currently available, that will be clean, that will be worthy of us. I've been to parts of Latin America that are not as rich as we are.
Time.
That is a disaster. So yes, parks will be taken care of under a new administration.
Time. Thank you very much. All right. Candidate Covo. Question about the environment. coming from a downtown newsreader. Biscayne Bay is in serious decline due to excessive pollution. What is your understanding of the problem, and what actions will you champion to protect and recover Biscayne Bay?
We've been waiting for the Baywalk for over 10 years. For the Baywalk to actually be able to interact with the Riverside Walk. We've been looking at different programs that actually should happen on Brickell, and they are there. We have them on deck. We need to make sure that the funding for those programs actually go through. Because I am always happy to hear people telling you that from day one, they're actually gonna solve all of our issues, and that is not true. We know that in commission, we're a vote of 5, but we have a lot of things that are on deck already. We have things that in the budget are ready to happen. Biscayne Bay needs to be preserved. We need to make sure that the Baywalk actually happens. And if we actually integrate it with the Riverside Walk and we integrate it with Brickell, we're going to get more federal funding. So no one is going to be able to tell you that we don't have the money, because that's an issue.
I think we're out of time.
Sorry for the time.
We'll give you an extra 60 seconds to answer the actual question, which is, what is your understanding of the problems of Biscayne Bay and how you're going to solve it?
I just said it.
Actually, you talked about the Baywalk. You didn't talk about the body of water.
The Baywalk is all around Biscayne Bay. So that's the answer.
No, but the question is more about the, and I believe...
If we protect the environment with the Baywalk, then we're protecting Biscayne Bay, because we have a huge issue about waste that goes into Biscayne Bay from our infrastructure. The city needs to provide the right infrastructure, and that's the answer. But if we are not integrated and we are taking things lot by lot, street by street, we're never going to get the funding. And everyone is going to tell you, you know what? You don't have the money. The city of Miami doesn't have money. No, we do have the money. Let's see how the money is used.
Okay, thank you. All right, very good. So in the format that I was given by Raul, we were specifically asking questions that had come up from the downtown news readership. As far as I'm concerned, we're kind of done with that. Let's get into the real dirt. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge some of my colleagues. Tonight, the Miami Herald does have a reporter staffing this event. Go figure. It's great. Thank you. And although she is not in her official capacity, one of my colleagues from local television is here from Local 10. So I don't know if she's here in the back. Oh, there she is on the front row. Sorry, I had the light in my face.
Put your glasses back on.
Yeah, I put them back on. All right, so let's go this way again. I got this mailer from your wife.
Guess you're talking to me again.
Yes, come on over. So I don't know how many of you got a mailer from his wife talking about coffee, but I also got a text message.
Back, sit where I say hello to everybody. There you go.
Also got a text
Direct
message
it to
today
her.
from somebody who said you had, it talked about your past. It talked about you resigning your office and that you have an alleged misogynist attitude toward women. It really went to town on you. As somebody who doesn't really know one way or the other what the truth is, what is the truth? Did you resign your position? Did you have an issue with women? What's the real deal here? There's text messages going off all over downtown Miami about you and your campaign.
Well, thank you. It's always nice when I can actually address the issue myself as opposed to other people addressing it for me. So first of all, no, I don't have any issues with a problem with women or misogynistic. As a matter of fact, when the incident happened, many women judges and judges came to my defense, and it's why I was fully cleared by the Florida bar. But yes, there was a false accusation, unfortunately, by a disgruntled employee with a lawyer that I had ruled against in a ruling, and took on a little bit of a news media life of its own. And my wife, who's here, we could speak to that issue, and my family and my son, who's a young attorney, said, you know, fortunately, I've done well in this community. I enjoy public service, but I didn't need to stay in the job, and I didn't want to put my family and the judiciary through those issues. And so I chose to resign, and I thought that would be the end of it. And then the Florida bar opened up a thorough investigation, and so people understand, again, the difference. Only the bar had jurisdiction once I resigned from the bench. That's why it wasn't a JQC issue. And through, unfortunately, though now maybe not, a year-long investigation that took a lot of time and money, the Florida bar realized that after hearing from many judges testify and others, that there was no wrongdoing. So I'll say it again, the accusations are false. I not perfect, and obviously there are things that I regret, and I certainly regret the fact that I wasn't able to stay and complete my term in my second term where I was elected unopposed because I was one of the better judges, always have done a good job, and I'm looking forward to the
Let's cut it
opportunity
there.
again.
But before you get up,
Sure.
let me give you another question about
Sure.
your background. Just because,
Sure.
again, I'd like to clarify some of the information that's being circulated, give
Happy
you a
to do
chance
it.
to respond to it. We are in this situation where we're having a special election because the commission was split. Two of the commissioners said, oh, I want to make an appointment. Two of the other commissioners said, well, let's put it out for a special election. Two of those commissioners apparently wanted to appoint you. So my question is, what is your relationship with the Carollo and Diaz de la Portilla dynasties that clearly wanted to put you into this position?
Well, you know,
It's a fair question.
No, it's a very fair question.
know
It's
what they-
It's funny all the reactions, and again, I'm happy that I get to answer
We
that
wanna hear
question
from you.
myself as well. So that's exactly correct. It was an appointment process, and when I first looked at this, and people asked me about would I be interested, and obviously I was wrong when I said I wasn't going to run in an election. But when they asked me if I would be interested in running for the elected seat, I really wasn't. And then when they said it's going to be an appointment, are you interested? So what did I do? I went and I started meeting with the commissioners. Some I knew before. Some I actually never met Joe Carollo before, about 2 months ago, contrary to popular belief. I did know some of the other commissioners, having been involved in the community for a long time. And I had thought that I had 3 commissioners that were going to support me for the appointment, and I do have 3 commissioners now that have endorsed me in this election as well as the mayor. So it's not a bad thing. You know, I'll say it again, it's experience and it's coalitions, and I think it was one of the other candidates that said you can't get anything done without 3 votes. And that's why I'm going to be the most effective commissioner from day one, because as everybody seems to know, the commissioners are in favor of my being there. And it's not bad. They're in favor because they know my experience, they know my background. I'm not a puppet to anybody. I don't need to be. I never have. I know that was what we were alluding to. You know, a lot of negativity out there. I'm always happy to address the issues because the truth is always going to be the right thing, and the truth is
You've answered. Thank you very much.
that I have the support. Thank you.
We're running out of
We're
time.
out of
Thank
time.
you.
I was going to talk about my other supporters
problem.
too, but thank you.
Thank you. Now, because I asked candidate Zilber 2 questions, I'm going to ask each candidate 2 questions, okay? Come on over. You're next. And I'm just going to refer to what I received in my mailbox from you, but I'm also going to tell you I got text messages, and one that I found to be particularly offensive, that called you a Puerto Rican, and it called you a criminal, and it talked about allegations from your youth that you may have had a run-in with police. So I don't know what is the truth. Were you arrested? Is the information that's circulating in the text messages accurate? And how do you justify that for the voter?
So I was actually waiting for that question, and I'll answer it as truthfully as I can and as transparent as it should be. I went through a very bad divorce back in Phoenix, Arizona, back in my 20s. I had some issues there. My ex-wife turned around and made some accusations that were not founded. Everything was dismissed. And at the end of the day, our children come first, because that accusation has been floating around, as you're stating.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Sure. So that has been floating around this universe. I have been transparent in addressing it. There was issues there that we had. And at the end of the day, everything was dismissed and not founded by the judicial system in Arizona. That's the fact. When you look at the messages that have been sent, I can honestly tell you, I am beside myself the racial undertones that a particular campaign is taking against not only myself, but other candidates that are
Which
here today.
campaign?
I'll let you determine that.
No, you know. Which campaign? Are you ready to name them on the record tonight?
I can name, and I don't want to name it because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get attacked, right? But, you know,
Do you know who's behind the text messages?
I'm 99% sure we all know, and it's not that hard to figure out, because these individuals have made statements on a personal level to other candidates, and that's not fair, because I will not run a negative campaign. I will not take the time of the voters away from what the real issues are.
James.
So that's your first question,
Well, that was
right?
the first question. My second question speaks to your relationship with the DNA, which you've been running.
Correct.
And there are some downtowners who were concerned that you had inappropriately used the DNA email list to campaign in a cloaked way by not announcing your candidacy, but instead encouraging people to vote as the president of the organization. How would you respond to that criticism?
Sure. We have a board of directors. The board of directors were talked to about my candidacy and running. In no shape, way, or form, let's be very clear, no shape, way, or form that I announced my candidacy on that platform. The messages that have been going out are to get the vote out. As president of the organization, that decision falls on our board of directors to send out these messages. So let's clear that out, because I've never used anything, I've never violated the public's trust in doing what we're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. Okay. You got it. You're out of time. Come on over, Christy. Christy, I got to tell you, I have not received one mailer about you.
Well, that's because I'm the true conservative one.
Okay.
Who
I have
believes
not
in
gotten one
digital.
text message about you. And seasoned political observers would say that may be the case because you are not considered a threat.
Yeah.
How would you respond to those who may not be taking your candidacy seriously?
Well, first off, I've taken my campaign grassroots directly to HOAs that have a massive issue with even their president, and one of them is sitting on this stage, and gotten the support of HOAs and buildings that have had their community pooled funds from some of the city officials stating that they are going to do things for them, like $40,000 from one building to help manicure a park that never got done. And so I've taken my campaign directly to the people because I know that we only need a handful of voters to win, and big buildings have a lot of people inside and a lot of votes. And that's the way I have been campaigning. However, I do have a text message campaign coming out, but it will basically just state facts. It's not going to be slanderous or throw people under the bus. It's going to throw facts under the bus about what our government has or has not done to them. And I do refer to them as government gangsters because they are all in this together. And ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice because I am running and I have no ties. I have no PAC money. The only thing that I have asked for is the votes of the people. And unlike a lot of the other candidates, I answer my own text messages, my own emails, and I actually am the one to meet with our commanders and our people to get the job done.
So you mentioned some... wait a minute. We'll get to it in a second. We're not doing it that way. I have to ask you, you used the phrase government gangsters.
Yes.
The city of Miami has a storied history, especially in District 2, of thuggish craziness, going back to Commissioner Tony Winton, who got into it at the airport and threw around his weight, accidentally tripped being directed into the police car. What do you see the mugshot? What specific evidence do you have that has led you to form the opinion that those who are currently sitting on the dais and in control of policy have a gangster mentality?
Well, whenever you're taking money from a particular building, claiming that you're going to do something with that money, those people are entrusting that in you. And just because they have the money doesn't mean that you should be taking it and not fulfilling the duties that you're saying that you're going to. Because in good faith, this community and all of downtowners, you know, we are not a poverty-stricken area, and thank God we're not. But that doesn't mean that we should be scamming each other or collecting Ponzi scheme style governments in order to get things done. So,
do you have evidence though?
I have one association that has written a check that I am actually waiting to see the check that was written, because again, this is a board wrote a check to a particular trust, I believe it was a trust, that...
So you're alleging that there is quid pro quo somewhere?
I am alleging that things are not getting done, that people are thinking are getting done with their money.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Just 1 minute. How relevant is your comment?
We're all going to be allowed comments if we want.
Yeah, we'll do a final round. Got to give everybody a chance to get 2 questions in.
We'll go back to the end.
That's all right. Max, come on, have a seat. Max, my question for you. You are considered the young upstart in this.
appreciate
You
that.
have a background that is not exactly the quintessential line of local politics. You don't have a name that sounds like it goes with the City of Miami Commission. A lot of people have said you may not have the chops for this job, but you certainly have the passion. What is the fuel that is running your passion to sit in the District 2 seat? Is it based on a particular bad experience, or is it just a generalization that you are dissatisfied with the status quo?
I'm definitely not satisfied with the status quo, and if anyone is in here, I'd be disappointed. If you consider what we're seeing right now progress, well, you and I just don't have the same idea of progress. Young and upstart, you got to have the energy to do this part. From Morningside to Coconut Grove, you got to be able to be in so many places and listen to so many people's issues and connect with them and talk to them. It's not about money. It's not about any of those things. Not saying I don't have a name for myself, but I did come runner-up for mayor in 2021, and I did get 1,260 votes in District 2. So by saying I have no name and, you know...
Yeah, but 1,000 votes in the City of Miami.
Well, isn't that considered like a winning vote count in this election?
Are you forfeiting your second question?
Sorry.
Max, let me ask you about some of your campaign collateral that I have seen. One of the issues that you have raised is the affordability issue of living, especially in the downtown area. What specifically could you do from a policy standpoint to make this more affordable? Because the guy in Argentina who owns my apartment, he wants to make a ton of money. He doesn't care about the rent that I want to pay.
Absolutely. You have to find a middle ground, especially with foreign development, such as yours. To build more housing needs to be the city's #1 issue. District 2 is just very, very compact right now, and they're prioritizing the tallest tower south of New York and crap like that in the corner of Biscayne Boulevard rather than focusing on the core and using our funds to build affordable housing for the workers that actually make the 57,000 jobs that Biscayne Bay are connected to a possibility. They need a place to live, they need a place to work, and dealing with foreign development, I have no tied interest into them. I have no problem saying, screw you, let's move on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Candidate Leal, have I got text messages about you?
That's good. Me too.
All right. I do have somewhere in here a giant thing that I got in the mail. I may have folded it up.
I
Pardon me
haven't
for
checked
not,
my mail today. You
for
mind
not
if I look
showing
at
it.
that?
But the ghost of Al Crespo is back, and he's in my text messages talking about some anonymous letter from a couple of years ago where you're accused of some shenanigans involving the Melrose and that you are Mayor Suarez's self-appointed do guy. Could you talk to us about some of the campaign allegations and clear the air for us? Is it accurate? Is it inaccurate? What's the story?
Thank you for the question. I think there's two questions there, but I'll take it as one.
Clean it up, my friend. A lot of dirt.
Dirt. Okay. The first thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you challenge City Hall throws everything at you. And that's what happened. Everything was thrown at me when I was speaking on behalf of my neighbors, on behalf of myself. Ultimately, that frivolous filing resulted unanimously by the Ethics Commission dismissal. The Burkow firm, very prominent land use attorney firm, paid my attorney's fees. And unfortunately, people don't read more about Crespo, but...
He's dead, isn't he?
No.
Oh,
Hold on.
okay.
He is.
Yeah.
Que en paz descanse. I think he brought good, inquisitive journalism that was much needed to challenge our elected officials. He did it in a very interesting way, but I like his, in some cases, that's how it works. And if you actually look up later that year, he actually writes about me and he exonerates me. And he actually, people don't like that, or people don't look at that. And the problem is that, and I've actually asked some of the journalists that are here to write about it, because what happened was that he put my last name, Leah, My last name is Leal. So when you look at my name, the only thing that populates is Leal. Naturally, that's my last name. So you only get one article, which, by the way, knocking on doors, people have told me, "Oh, I saw the video. You're not afraid. You went after them." And I was like, "Yeah, that actually worked."
All right, so you're telling me that what I got in the text message is old news, and you've been cleared.
Completely.
Okay, so that's what's been missing. Okay,
Completely.
thank you.
Very simple.
Here's your next question, and I have to ask it. You have reportedly a very tight relationship with Francis Suarez, and some people would say that the mayor needs some help in this very cantankerous dais of 5. Will you be the mayor's person on the dais, or will you be an independent thinker? What's your relationship there?
I will always be an independent thinker. I was brought because of my legal analysis and independence to challenge the city attorney. You might not know that the city attorney has a very unique way of interpreting the law.
Mendez.
Yes. And I have a very good relationship with her and her staff, but it was very aggressive at the beginning. And the reason it was because the mayor needed somebody to challenge, to have the legal mind power. I graduated from Duke, magna cum laude in economics, and I graduated from Duke University Law School, and I've practiced in some of the best law firms in the country.
So you were the tool used by the mayor.
I was the spear of the sword when you needed to draft legislation, when you needed to draft vetoes, when you needed to confront and fight. And my mission is to use that skill set to advance our cause for the city. I will not be the mayor's puppet. I will not be the commissioner's puppet. I have heard from people from Morningside to Coconut Grove where there is anger, there's resentment, and we need to move that forward. Somebody that is skill set.
Thank you very much.
So I will not be the mayor's puppet or any connection with it. My job is City of Miami. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Candidate Covo, come on down to the hot seat. Years ago, I worked with candidate Covo's sister in Colombia. So I want to bring up the whole Colombian issue. Now, I just got back from Cali, Colombia yesterday. I flew in for the event, and I received a text message, a lot of people here, alleging that you have ties to the M19 guerrilla group, that your mother is somehow a close confidant of the president who was a former guerrilla, and that Colombian politics will invade District 2 if you are successful. And as a former journalist, I looked at that and I said, gee, somebody is thinking that these gringos don't understand, they're stoking. So in all fairness, you and I have had a friendship and a relationship. I know your family. But I would like for you to explain to the audience this latest attack ad that alleges that you have connections to a terror group. Is it true or is it false?
It's totally false. My uncle was kidnapped by the FARC, and we went through hell to actually be able to keep him safe. My children's uncle is Fernando Araujo. You can Google him. He escaped from the FARC after 10 years in captivity. And I actually worked for Federico Gutierrez, and you can Google him as well, because the good thing when you're a journalist is that everything is on record. I've been a public personality for 20 years, and they've been attacking me, and I know the second question is coming, but it's all there. He actually worked as a minister for Álvaro Uribe, who was a conservative. I do have a third cousin that worked for Petro's government and that is very well known in Colombia, and we're a family of 700 from the coast of Colombia. It's like saying that Mario Diaz-Balart is a communist or congressman because he's actually has family ties with the Castro. And that's what they're doing, and they're doing it to the Colombian community. And this is a racist attack, and it's unfortunate that Miami politics has gotten this way.
Let me ask a question. I tried to ask this to one of the other candidates. Do you know who is behind that particular attack ad?
I don't know, because what they're trying to do is actually take my attention from what I need to do, which is knock on doors. Because we need to win, and I need to win. And as you may know, we can win with 1,500 votes. And if I am actually concentrating on my attacks, then that's what they're trying to do. Take me away from what I'm trying to do, which is actually work for my constituents.
So Sabina, you had sent out a flyer. And again, I've tried to show as many as I've received in the mailbox. It's not because I'm not trying to show them. It's just I'm showing you what I have. Your flyer was very positive and upbeat. However, I received this alert, bankruptcy notice.
Yeah, it's a terrible marketing company, by the way. I don't know who's doing that.
So I'd like to ask you about this because you will have a say in budgeting, and the allegation has been made that you cannot handle your own personal finances. How could you be trusted budgeting for the city? So what is the response to the campaigning attacks on your campaign?
I own 2 small businesses, and I actually founded them while being a TV reporter and a writer, a published writer, and a mom of 3. So whomever is saying that is sexist. You know why? Because that bankruptcy was done over medical debt because I had a complication with my first child.
So it was a low blow in your opinion?
I did the bankruptcy because it was like $70,000 and our medical system didn't work 15 years ago, and it doesn't work still. When you're in the gap, you're not ultra rich and you're not poor. You just don't get medical coverage. Okay. Watch the deductibles. That's the reality. That's why I did it.
Thanks for answering.
After our legal advice, I didn't went crazy on it and I just didn't know. It was legal advice.
Time is up. Thank you very much. So I think we've asked about a lot of the dirt that's been circulating out there, and I think we've gotten some answers. But now each of the candidates would like to have a follow-up, because when I raised the question about some of these rather juicy and salacious issues circulating in our cell phones, some of the candidates wanted to rebut some of the comments made. So let's go back to the candidate on the end. Candidate Zilber, if you'll come to the center seat. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to clear up anything that was raised in that last round.
So is this our closing also?
Nope, this is the clear it up, then we'll get to closing.
Okay.
Clear it up, 60 seconds, go.
Thank you. Well, again, I addressed it. It didn't come back up after my speech, but I'll address again first as to the accusations of the resignation or the fact that I did resign from the bench. Again, it was protection of my family, and I just didn't think it was becoming of the judiciary to bring a year-long trial through the media. And, you know, again, I wanted to keep my family first, but I was cleared, as we heard from a lot of people here on a lot of issues. Maybe there's a little bit of a trend there that you should ask us what happens and focus on the positive, not on the negative. But again, I was cleared of any wrongdoing. The second, I believe, issue that came up was, again, which we heard several times, was someone going to be a puppet or a pawn. You know, I don't run away from the fact that I tried to get appointed. I don't run away from the fact that both the mayor and the majority of the commission are supporting me. They're supporting me because they know that I have the ability and the experience to get the job done from day one. I'm fortunate to have the police union, the fire union, some of those folks are here and walking with me today, the General Services Employees Union, the AFL-CIO, the people that work in the city, the people that serve you every day, have thrown their support to me because they know I'm ready to serve you, and I'm the most experienced one to do that.
Let me ask a follow-up. Let me ask a follow-up, because you just brought up an issue, organized labor. So you have just talked about all of these organized labor organizations that are endorsing you.
I gave you an extra question. Do
you
like
did.
that?
No,
Do I get paid extra? No, I'm kidding.
You don't. But sometimes it's time to pay the piper, and the unions come knocking after they get their person in office. And they usually use that person to manipulate various labor practices. We've seen that in New York, we've seen it in Chicago. How would that not happen with you? Because this is South Florida.
Sure. Well, first, I've been endorsed by the unions and many of these organizations for a long time. I mean, it happened when I was on the bench, and certainly I was able to understand the right from the wrong in that position. I was able to understand the right from the wrong when I was on the Public Health Trust dealing with the unions. I just have a long experience of dealing with this community. Unions being one of the people that support me. That's like saying because you get a check from someone, you're going to owe someone something, or I'm going to owe to someone else. No, I'm an independent person. People understand that I'm independent. But I think it's very important. One of the biggest reasons I'm running is because I think there needs to be more police on the streets. We need to increase the police budget. We need to have more officers out out there. So I'm proud to have the support from the different various unions. Our fire needs new equipment. Our general services, they're concerned. As a judge, I understand the system. I was part of a pension plan. I know why it's important for our public
Candidate,
servants.
your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. James, if you'll come on up. James, I know you had some issues you wanted to address that had come up during that last round of
Let's
questioning.
clear that. So everyone knows that I am the president of the DNA. Our organization is a nonprofit organization. Please get your facts straight, number one. Number two, when members of the DNA come to the DNA and say, hey, we need some assistance because we have a problem, please check your facts. Walk over to the trust office and ask what we've done. We brought the entire community together, the buildings that were having a problem across the street at MAF Park. We hosted the meeting. Keyword is hosted. We don't get paid. We don't have checks. You can get whatever you want, but check your facts. No, but you're insinuating is what you're doing. You're insinuating. Let me finish. You don't have to.
Be
You're
nice.
saying the president
Miami
of the
nice.
DNA. You're saying the associations. So the issue is very clear. We advocate for this entire community that I represent, 30,000 strong downtowners. When there's issues, we address it. There's homeless issues, we address it. We have to reach across the aisles to have all of these conversations. Those are facts. When these buildings came to us and said, hey, we need some help because this is happening, great. I brought police, the heat team, I brought in all the buildings, and also the trust to sit down with these individuals to solve their problems. So please, go across the street, get your information. You can, the commanders?
Go ahead and address the commanders. What's the commander's name for this?
The commander
Candidates,
is Ken Russell.
Candidates, we don't want this
Okay,
to turn into
so let's
a,
change that,
a
right?
pissing match.
So here's
let's go ahead and, James, address the group. You got 30 seconds. Clear
Thank
it
you.
up. Do not address
so
your fellow candidate.
at the end of the day here, the DNA is what protects you from all of these candidates here that have special interests. Facts. I have been working hard, unsponsored by anybody, doing what I have to do for this community that I love and cherish. I'm the one who's kind of responsible for the no scooter program. I'm the one who's responsible for the simple fact of there is no noise ordinance, and we've gotten away from that. And guess what? At the end of the day, anyone that wants to accuse the DNA's record is more than welcome to walk across the street and look at these records. Thank you.
Okay. Christy, please come on up. We noticed that the two of you disagree on a lot of issues, and it felt to be rather edgy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have no idea who actually took a check to help some of the buildings. I'm actually getting those from the HOAs. But evidently there was someone that went out and volunteered to help get things done in a park. And those things did not happen. Those are facts. Okay, when it comes to the police, our police are actually there's no limitations on the amount a politician can actually have they can take police off the streets. They can do whatever they need. If I'm Ken Russell and I said I need 3 officers at my house because I feel scared, there's no limitation on the amount of police hours I can actually use for my personal security. When it comes to special interest, we have a massive issue with special interest groups trying to control our Miami Commission. And I just want everybody to know that most likely all of us up here actually interviewed with those unions, but many of us, including myself, we evidently didn't answer their questions the right way. And I just want to say that I also back the police and I back the firemen. And I believe that our budget should be completely audited because they do take 45% and they're telling us that they don't have the correct infrastructure that's necessary. And with my son-in-law actually being a fire marshal, I actually do understand the cost of the fire and the infrastructure.
Is your son-in-law fire marshal here in Miami?
He actually trains all the fire marshals with
Here in
drones. Not in Miami, but in South Georgia. They actually go to South Georgia to train.
But you realize they have different standards.
Oh
in
yeah,
Georgia than we
absolutely.
have here.
My son-in-law is the one who actually teaches them how to fire the drones into the large buildings to keep people from being on fire. I'm very familiar.
Got it. Okay, Max, come on over. Our exchange wasn't as testy as that last exchange, but I'll give you 60 seconds to address any issues that you'd like to address.
Well, I'd like to put notice the issue that I'm not creating drama. I think the last thing this city needs is more drama. We need stability, and we need someone who's really going to stick up for people, absolutely no special interests, and who's willing to fight as hard as they can in such a toxic culture to be able to change it. I think the nickname culture emanates into City Hall, which emanates into our streets, and people treat each other terribly, lack of respect, lack of time. We need a complete culture change, and someone has to be the catalyst, and your vote will do that for me. Thank you.
Thanks. Candidate Leal, you had some issues you'd like to clear up. This is your 60 seconds based on the last conversations we had.
Got more? Oh, that's yours. Okay, that's good. I like to be organized.
60 seconds, man. The clock's ticking.
Okay.
Go.
There's really not a need to clarify. I think if you were paying attention, you could tell the caliber of candidates that we have before you. You can draw your own conclusions. One, I think it makes it very clear that what you've read about the Ethics Commission was unanimously dismissed. I do not think that you can equate my efforts to fight David versus Goliath to some of the other allegations that have been confirmed by some of the candidates. That's one. Number two, you heard from one of the candidates that as it relates to independence, he is sponsored or endorsed by essentially large parts of the commission and by the mayor. I think that makes it very clear that I am independent, have remained independent from the time that I went to City Hall, that I went to City Hall and I came out of City Hall. We need someone that is intelligent, capable, and actually knows the system because it has been working in the system. And one of my endorsements, forget about the endorsements that are cooked because he's politically connected. Obviously, you're going to get all those endorsements. What? We're fairly smart, intelligent people here. But lo and behold, one candidate that is endorsed by the commission that have pending contracts gets all of those endorsements. Hopefully, you are smart enough to figure out and connect one-to-one. The reality is that
if I'm not, who is the candidate?
Excuse me?
If I'm not smart enough to connect it, who are you speaking about?
Martin Silver.
Okay.
Me, I'm the one who said I was.
I'll tell it to you.
I just want to make sure everyone's clear.
Okay. I like clarity. What you need is someone independent. You need someone that knows the system, that has proven, and in one of the endorsements that is not political, which is the One Grove, more than 35 community leaders came together and spent more than 300 hours reviewing all the candidates. They concluded that Lonely Eddie Leal was the one that was capable, competent by doing independent discussions with former employees and current employees. Because I have not forgotten what I was brought up at kindergarten. Please, thank you, and you're welcome. And that's what's missing in the city. And if you elect me, we will make that day one. I don't need longer time period. Day one that comes in. So thank you. I appreciate it. I don't really need to clarify anything.
Got it.
Yes.
I didn't see you. I didn't see you.
That's all right.
I'm here.
Go.
I'm here.
Go. This brings me to another issue. Whenever I would sit in Miami City Hall and I would listen to these politicians drone on and on and on, they would forget that you're on my clock. So I'm hoping all of you take this takeaway from my exchange with you today, that when you get on the dais, I don't want to hear hot air. I want you to do the people's business quickly so I can get home and have dinner. I'm only there because I'm interested in the issue, and then I want to get on with my life. All right, Sabrina. You mentioned the R word, racism, and we talked about the attacks, and you shared with us. I thought you were going to cry when you talked about your medical bills. So 60 seconds to kind of close the door on those issues, and anything else you'd like to rebut from what came up with the other candidates.
So someone said that I am not a lawyer, that I am not a politician, and that I am not ready to take over City Hall and bring my leadership. I am extremely ready. And because I am not like them, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to fight for my community. I have nothing else to say regarding the attacks because I think it's a distraction. And it would be an honor for you to vote for me. I can assure you that I'm going to be your transparent voice in City Hall. I'm doing this for our community. Specifically today, I'm addressing downtown. I know what downtown means to us and what we need to do. And 60 seconds, I'm sure.
That was it.
That was
Thank you.
it. I'll be honored to get your vote.
65.
27th of February, and your ABs are important.
Thank you.
Please make sure to register.
So I hope tonight all of you who have been here have enjoyed the event, but also can appreciate the time and effort that Raul and I took to make sure the questioning was fair and that we addressed the issues that were out there. So now I'd like to turn it over to our host, Raul, to bring us to the finish line. Raul?
Okay, so we have to be fair and
Go to the center.
I'm going to give each candidate 2 minutes for closing arguments, if you wish, using the legal terminology. And let's start. Let's break the alphabetical order. Let's start with you.
Thank you all for being here and caring about our community and taking time to really get to know each one of us, because no matter who wins, we're all hopefully going to have to work together in some way. So my name is Christy Tasker. You may have seen me on NBC or even with Christina. I just realized that she was one of the ones that had come out for the Una Residence project, where I was the one who tooted the horn on their water breach, their aquifer breach. So that may be the reason some of you recognize me. I've also won numerous awards and hold city proclamations and city keys for other cities that I've actually helped and lived in and served in as a community. So I welcome you to investigate that or ask me for any referrals. I live in the same parks and walk my dogs in the same parks that you guys do. I experience the same noise ordinance as you do. I hear things that go on. When it comes to problems, I have a lot of solutions. We have already started working on solutions because you know why? I listen. The biggest thing is working on solutions that you guys have. When I've asked if you think we are going to need a traffic engineer, many of you have said we already have the solutions to the problems. So when it comes to those flashing LED billboards and the traffic that some of us here have not managed to take care of, why would we want to entrust that with those same people? So I ask for your vote. I ask for you to go to ChristyTasker4Miami.com in order to actually see some of the things that I have on my list. Let me know if there are things that you want me to take care of, because I have already started meeting with commanders, with waste management, to make sure that I get the issues taken care of, no matter if you decide to elect me or not. But however, if you do elect me, we will actually have a vote at the table. And I will be the one to answer my emails, no matter how big a team gets. And I will be hosting town halls. So,
That's more than 2 minutes.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As everyone knows, my record speaks for itself of what I've done for this community. And when I speak of community, it's everything that we still have to do. And that's why I got into this race, because we, as downtowners, have been neglected 9 years. Our infrastructure is in shambles. Our parks are another issue that we all know. I intend to address those issues, and I have been. Everyone that knows me knows that I have been championing not my ideas, your ideas as a community. I listen to you guys, especially at the 7-Eleven corner where there's a massive drug infestation and homeless issue that we have. I've reached out to the Homeless Trust. I'm the one that has rolled up my sleeves for this community, and I intend to take that from the north end of Morningside down to the Grove area. Because at the end of the day, I'm not speaking for just downtown. I'm speaking for our community. These are things that are important. The redevelopment of Flagler is key and vital for downtown. Think about that. It's been talked about. It's now progress because of certain individuals that have done it. I stand with the blue. My brother is a blue in Wisconsin. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they endorse or don't endorse, because they get to do it again and they realize who the better candidates are here today. I have never have violated the public's trust. I've always stood with the community and things that we've done. When they've come to us as the DNA, we've championed your ideas, not mine. because I look at the interests of the community before anything else. I ask for your vote as we move in. Thank you for that back there. Hold your comments. So we kindly ask you to vote. I will be. Thank you. Thank you.
Time is up. 2 minutes.
So voteJamesTorres.com. I'm here for you as a community.
Time is up.
Thank you very much.
I will ask the public to refrain. You are a guest here. Thank you. George?
It's Zibbler's guy, that's why.
No, but doesn't matter who.
Thank you again, and for those who don't know, but probably being in this room would be hard not to, again, Martin Zilber, and for everyone watching, hope to have your support and your vote on February 27th. You know, we've heard a lot of negativity here. I really think we need to focus on the positive. And the positive, again, is my experience in coalition. I've been one of us. I've been in this neighborhood longer than, now I'm older than everybody too, probably, so maybe that's another reason. But I've been in this community my entire life. For 60 years, born and raised, and been in District 2 for over 35 years. Nobody can speak to that. Nobody can speak to my experience. No one can speak to my ability to start day one and do what's best for this community. And I don't run away from the support that I have. I think the reason I have that support is because these are people that know I'm going to get the job done from day one. I've had other groups such as the Realtors Association since it came up, Regatta Park Association, and others that have endorsed me that aren't organized labor or elected officials. The point is there's a wide variety of this community that knows I'm ready to do the job day one. So I'm happy. I'm an open book. I've been here my whole life. It's pretty easy to know everything that I've been involved with and what I've done. I'm always happy to answer any questions, take your calls, take your emails, stay here tonight and ask you. Only need to do this for one reason, and the one reason is public service. And when people ask why did I get involved with this, you know, my two biggest accomplishments, and I've been lucky to do a lot of things in this community and in my lifetime, but are by far my children. And my son who just got married, Michael, who's an attorney here, my daughter who followed in my wife's footsteps in the fashion industry, they were born and raised here. I hope my grandchildren will stay and be born and raised in this community, and that's why I do this, because I care about our future, I care about our community, and I hope that you all understand that and show me your support and your vote on February 27th. Thank you so much for listening here today.
Sabina.
I want to thank you, Raul and Brian, for actually making this happen, because this is a reason why Miami is not actually developing. We are fighting all the time. We're exposing corruption all the time. I'm a small business owner. I'm a mother of 3 children. And if you all go back and compare ourselves to cities in Europe, we are not even close to the quality of life that we actually need to have for the tax dollars that we pay. Nothing is getting done in the city of Miami. And then people compare us to Latin America. And then they call us racist. I don't have much to say. I just want to tell you that we are not going in the right direction, that my children and your grandchildren deserve better. If not, at some point, we are all going to be moving out of the city of Miami, the city that we love. And I just don't agree with that. I ask you for your vote. And again, remember, February 27th is a Monday. Tell your friends to vote for me. I'm the best person because I'm neutral. And I am not only neutral, I am transparent. And I am going to make sure that I can negotiate to make things happen because I'm going to be 1 vote of 5, but I'm going to make a difference. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. For those of you who want to have a comment after this forum, there will be a reception, and you can talk one-on-one to any of the candidates and air your concerns. Señor Leal.
So, first of all, thank you for caring. Thank you for being here. I know it's a Tuesday night, and we could be somewhere else with our family. So that's important, and thank you. Number 2, here's my vision. Here's what I want to do. Here's why I'm running. 1, I anticipate we will start meetings on time. Why? Because we will have quorum. 2, We will not insult our residents that come speak to us on public comments. You will not be called an activist. You will not be called names just because you come speak. I will sit on the chair and listen to you when you come to address the elected officials. I will not be hiding in my office. I will be there listening to your concerns to the extent that we haven't been able to address them before the agenda. Number two, who isn't fed up with Miami Forever bonds, projects that have remained dormant, inexistent, and we haven't moved them forward? We have spent millions of dollars that we have taxed everybody here, at least everybody that is District 2 resident.
5 years already.
That's right.
5 years.
And enough is enough. Can I save the Titanic on day one? No. But am I going to figure out where the Titanic is because I've been inside the Titanic for the last 4? Yes. I will ensure that we have a clear method, clear standard, because I know pretty much everybody in OCI, which is Office of Capital Improvements, and all the managers and all the interim directors. Last but not least, we will protect and we will demand a robust investment in our historic gems. Have you seen Marine Stadium? Have you seen the Playhouse? Have you seen Olympia Theater? They're crumbling before us, and we do nothing. We do nothing. I have walked those places because I've been invited to canoe them, and I've been below them. That's Marine Stadium.
Time.
I've walked. Thank you. February 27th, Fort Ferretti. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Senor Max Martinez.
Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. My final pitch to you is I'm 31, and I see my hometown in a major crisis, especially my home district. I worked my butt off at Peacock Park to train and become a Cornell college football player, and I plan on taking that same mentality of learning on the go into this job. When it comes to the things like the pollutants of Biscayne Bay, when it comes to mitigating the flooding and everything that we need to do, we really do have third world infrastructure. We're trying to mitigate the results of that through all the stuff the climate resiliency team is doing. We need to stop the nicknaming, the bully culture, the attacks, because that's why nothing ever gets done, because time is just suffocated here. People don't respect time. And time is what's coordination, it's what I call the Brickle Bridge mentality, which is where time stops for the rich. And when you throw everyone else's coordination off, you just don't respect them. And I am telling you that I am here at 31 years old for the second time in 15 months trying to change the culture of my hometown. It needs someone new, it needs perspective, and it needs someone that's willing to fight through with anything and with anyone to get the job done. Vote Max for MIA on February 27th, and my website's maxformia.com. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our forum exactly on time. And I thank you all for coming, and I hope this gave you some a better idea of what the candidates. And I'm sure that from this panel, the next commissioner will come. So, and I thank you all for your fantastic work. Thank you.